on now.
All right, we've got about 20 on now, so we can go ahead and get started. Some other folks can join us as they can, and we'll be answering emails and stuff for people that are emailing us, still emailing us, trying to get in. Just wanted to have just a little roundtable with you guys today. I know we've got a lot of folks. I'm looking at names, but a lot of them are also phone numbers or just IDs that I can't identify. So not sure everybody, but we invited a lot of all of our manufacturing folks and other leaders from around Marshall County. I've seen a couple of from our legislative delegation, and we invited some mayors and chamber directors, and also some folks from Snead State and we're in the two-year college system because the two-year system has a lot of resources that they can bring to bear, and we'll talk about that in a minute with Dr. Exley and his team. Just the whole point of this was just for the manufacturers in Marshall County to have an opportunity to discuss issues you're having, problems you're facing, worries that you may have at this time about uncertainty and what's going to happen. I know one question I had that's come up a couple of times, several times, has been about what is considered essential and non-essential industries. I know the governor sent out had a press conference last Thursday where she made some statements, and a lot of folks really got nervous about that because it was kind of ambiguous the way she said it. And I had several of you guys contact me that afternoon, worried that you're going to have to shut down. We got a hold of Senator Schofield, and he talked to the governor's someone on the governor's staff who assured us that was not what she meant, and that manufacturing needs to go on and full steam ahead. So that was a week ago. So a lot changes. She has still not made that declaration, but some states have. And I've got it was an email I received from the Economic Development Association of Alabama. I think it was yesterday we received it. That said it was basically a little how to get ahead of the game, and have your company deemed essential, or see if you are could be considered critical. And there's some good resources on that. I posted the text of that on our Facebook page. But I'm going to forward that email out to everybody that was on this list, because there are some links in it that didn't carry over into the Facebook posting. And these links were pretty good. One was a spreadsheet that showed it really broke it down into detail of what industries in the state of Pennsylvania, for example, would be considered essential and non-essential. And I don't, you gauge that however you will, because Alabama will have its own guidelines. You can be rest assured that right now, probably as we speak, Fitzgerald Washington and the Secretary of Alabama Secretary of Labor and the Labor Department are probably crafting those rules right now in such an event that the governor does make such a declaration. We don't know if she's going to do that, if it will come to that. I hope it does not come to that. But with that said, let's hear from you guys. Who's somebody who would just like to kind of talk briefly about what's going on with their business and how things have changed and how you're adapting to this? Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
This is Stan. So just
Stan.
I work with Warren Distribution, so we do manufacturing and packaging. Obviously, you guys know that, but the others may not. One of the things that if anybody has any resources or contacts is just how to handle emergency response. If we have a case, if we've got vendors or people that are aware of that can help come in and help from that emergency response within a facility. That's something I'd be interested in finding out, just what other facilities are doing.
Who has anyone had to face it? Obviously, we've only had one. I think this morning we're up to 3 cases in Marshall County that had been determined. But I would think you would handle it with any other emergency type issue you would have at a plant. Do we have any safety folks on the line?
Just like what companies are they using, or because like I said, it's not necessarily we know how to do the emergency response, but having maybe a company that comes in that can help out those type things. That's what we're looking
for like cleaning and
exactly
sanitizing and things like that. I know we have ServPro in Marshall County is in Albertville.
Yeah, we've talked with them.
That. There are others.
Yeah, we've talked with ServPro. I was just curious, so we're working with them, just trying to see if there's what people are doing. That's good.
On that conference call from EDA, they were talking about how some people have tapped their restaurant industry struggling to come and help them clean.
That's true.
Have to abide by all of those rules. Anyway.
So she's saying we couldn't hear very well.
That's true. We were on a webinar the other day with some economic development folks, and they were talking about how some businesses, some manufacturers were contacting restaurants and temporarily hiring their wait staff because the wait staff's not really working. They may be open
right.
and doing takeout, but the waiters and bartenders and waitresses, they can't really do anything. And so they were talking about how some manufacturing businesses that needed extra people to come in and clean and do certain, do things like for instance, we heard about a plant that was that had several, had 3 or 4 people per shift that all they did was walk around the entire facility and continuously wipe things down, doorknobs and any kind of handle or railing or levers or anything like that. And so what they were saying on this call was that this company, and I don't remember who it was or where it was in Alabama, but there was a company that had started calling the local restaurants and paying their waitresses and waiters that weren't working to just come in and be extra help in cleaning the plant. So Stan, that's a kind of a simple thing, but
right.
But it kind of helps with the overall economy because I do know. I mean, if you go, like my daughter is waits tables. She's in college at Montevallo. Her restaurant is open, but she's not working. She's working maybe one shift a week because they don't need all their waitresses. They just need their cooks and their food prep people like that. That's good. That's a good point though, Stan.
This is Amanda at the Gunnersville Chamber. There is a company called Special Touch Restoration. They're located sort of up close to Papa Doopie's. And they had posted on their Facebook page, I believe yesterday, that they had some special cleaning products and they are equipped to go in businesses and places to clean up and help prevent the spread of COVID-19. So that may be somebody that if you have a particular need, you could reach out to them and they could help you with that.
Excellent.
That's a good suggestion. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Other thoughts?
So Matt, it's Mark Dummer at Atrium Medical. We make medical devices. Does anybody have any insight into how this is going to work when we do get our first confirmed case and they happen to work at one of our businesses? What's the we really don't know what the routine is as far as the governmental agencies that would be interested in. I mean, obviously they're going to, it appears to me that they interview the individual and find out who they've associated with. And then they want to know who those people are and probably make recommendations to quarantine those people. Is that correct?
That's correct. But-
Is there a procedure that's written down that the manufacturers can see, where we understand what's going to happen when that occurs? Because it's going to happen. We just don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknown there.
Well, that's true. I'm not aware of anything specific, any directives that have come out. Ben, have you seen anything?
Anything that directly addresses that question?
And that's a really good question. It's something we'll try to find out. Does anyone have any knowledge of that particular?
I see Wes is listening in. I didn't know if he knew of anything that was going on as far as Montgomery there.
I'll reach out to the governor's office and see what they have. I know the Department of Public Health has been reaching out to the different industries that have had some cases. I know down in Montgomery, there was a case down there. I'm not exactly sure specifics, but I will reach out and I'll get that information to Matt to make sure we can distribute it to everyone.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. I think that we're in the same boat. We're concerned about what those steps are. Like you said, we were supposed to contact the CDC, but other than that, we don't know what those next steps will be after that. So that'd be helpful.
Because I mean, you're sort of in a dilemma because obviously if you're fortunate enough to be designated as essential, there if you take what the president said as far as you're obligated to keep your workplace open to a certain extent, but then again, you've got the safety of your employees to balance against that, and there's not really a clear-cut path, at least since we haven't experienced it, how you make those things happen and balance both of those things. So, anything written that we can get our hands on, that we understand where we'd be going, that would be really helpful.
Okay. We will get some information for you. Like I say, I'm sure there is something out there already. I've just not seen it come across our desk yet. But that is a great point, Mark, because it will happen. It's just like, for days we kept saying, "Oh, Marshall County, man, we don't have any cases, don't have any cases." Well, we didn't have any cases because they weren't tested. We didn't have any test kits, and obviously we knew there would be cases, and as of yesterday, we had our first one. So that it will happen, and we need to be prepared for it. So we will find an answer to that question for you and get it out to everybody.
Yeah. So before I just throw out a question or a problem, I did want to note, Matt, Ben, Brittany, Dr. Exley, we really appreciate all the information that we've been getting from you guys, and the way that you've and Wes, we appreciate all the things you've been doing to keep everybody up to speed as much as possible, and all the good things you've been doing representing us as far as what's going on. We appreciate that.
Well, thanks, Mark. To that end, Dr. Exley, you want to kind of talk a little bit about SNEED and what is available there and how you guys can help?
Matt, here's where we are. A couple of things. We get an awful lot, at least I do, an awful lot of information that deals with just the stuff that's been talked about here. So I can share information with you, and we can distribute it out on cleaning companies and those kind of vendors and stuff. The college has actually been able to transition very successfully to fully online instruction, except for those face-to-face labs and hands-on. For your information, aviation is in the suspended state because it's all hands-on. So aviation program will resume once we get the go-ahead that everybody can come back to work. The campus is pretty much on minimal operations as far as people, but everybody are working from home. We equipped about 30 employees to take laptops home and access through VPN. So one thing we can offer is if anyone needs assistance or guidance on what it's like to take employees and turn them into remote employees from home, we've got a bunch of information we can share on the different challenges and how you set those things up there. If you have a need for someone with expertise on VPNs and stuff, virtual private networks, we can provide that kind of information. As far as nursing, we are following the guidelines from the State Department of Nursing, working with the ACCS, all nursing programs together. So our students are all but one within what's called the maximum 50% range that they could just go ahead and and not have to do any more face-to-face clinicals. All but one of our clinical locations have said they really do not want students coming on campus right now in clinical because of danger and risk. So our nursing students are going to do things through simulations, and then, again, the lecture stuff they can do online. The other thing we can do, I think, is find out from you, are there other ongoing training needs you have that we could look for online providers or even set up Zoom online training through the college? So, you know, if there are specific things, whether that's OSHA 10 or OSHA 30 or anything like that, or if you need something to help supervisors understand how to supervise remote workers, and I understand most of those would be your office workers, not necessarily people out in your plants. But we want to respond to your needs, and we're going full bore as far as people working. I'm in touch with cabinet members every day, and they're in touch with their employees every day.
That's good to know. That's good to know, Doc. Zach Lee, I see you're on as well. Anything else from the perspective of the overall to your college system?
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff Lynn's on the call, so I'll kind of defer to him.
I thought he had to drop off because I didn't see him on here anymore.
Hey, Matt.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
I just muted myself. Hey, so we're continuing to monitor everything across the state. We are work from home right now. All of our colleges are doing online training. We're having a little bit of trouble with some of our FAA programs because they're more hands-on, and so we're trying to take them through at least April the 6th. We have FAA approval on 2 of our locations there. But I want to echo a couple of things. What we want to do is just make sure that Marshall County and the manufacturing groups understand that we can provide training. If anybody needs training, we can set it up very customized, very specific for them. We can have portals that go straight to their plants, to their employees. And we have a team of people at Snead State that can help set this up. So perhaps we can send y'all, you, Matt, a list of those courses. You can send them out to the companies. And, you know, in these times of unknown, there may be some training that they want to do for some of their employees. If the line's down for whatever, for a changeover, and they have a couple of hours, they may want to take that opportunity to do some training, whether it be lean, soft skills, technical skills, OSHA, et cetera, et cetera. We just want to be a great partner for you and y'all's team, you and Ben and the team, and just support y'all 100%. And then, you know, run traps for you if we need to, and just kind of be a support mechanism for you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that. What else? Who else has some ideas, some thoughts? Anything else you're doing different right now, or is anybody making something or considering making something that you don't produce currently? But like I know I've talked to someone in a totally unrelated field. Is considering setting up production to make hand sanitizer. I'm looking for a building for this person right now. Anyone considering that? Any manufacturer considering that? I don't see Laura Kapler or George Kapler on the call, but I know Laura. They've had their R&D folks looking at can they tune up to make respirators? Anybody considering anything like that?
I know Warren Distribution, we're surprisingly busy right now. So
I think everybody was very busy, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that everyone is still busy, you know. But there's certain like automotive. Our automotive folks, since Honda shut down, I don't see anyone from TS Tech or Newman, but you know, that basically essentially means that they can't be producing the things they would normally be producing. I ran into someone with a TS Tech uniform on yesterday at a gas station, and he said they were doing some maintenance and working on some machines and things like that. But obviously, a set of seats that goes in a Honda Odyssey, when it leaves Boaz, it's installed in an Odyssey within 10 hours. So if they're not making Odysseys at Lincoln, they're not making seats.
Hey, Matt, just Dr. Exley, I forgot to mention one thing. At the system office, we are coordinating an inventory that was requested from all the community colleges on any personal protective equipment that we have that we could distribute if it was requested from the local hospitals. So every community college nursing program is identified, and the other health programs, masks and ventilators and anything at all, and gloves that we could contribute if somebody needed to have those donated. So that's something that not just Alabama nursing programs, but community college nursing programs across the country are stepping up and trying to provide those things. I saw a LinkedIn message from Ed O'Neill this morning that I thought was interesting, where he got an email from the Army looking for retired or former military medical personnel who would voluntarily reactivate.
Wow.
So I think there's an awful lot of stuff going on out there.
Wow.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
This is Palmer. Yeah, on a note of that with the Army, of course, my husband's reserves, and reserves is typically not activated for national stuff, and that they are activating. This is first time in the history, so they're really taking this seriously.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They've got a lot of resources that they can bring.
Yeah, Jim is an officer, so he was on conference calls for 2 hours just last night.
Wow.
So Matt, so the biggest challenges there, of course, are there are a lot of people out there that want to contribute to the whatever it is, face masks, face shields, things like that. It's going to be raw materials that are, getting those raw materials from places that those are raw materials that you might not normally use in your normal operation. So that's always a challenge, but things are coming together.
Sure.
Matt, this is Jeff Lynn again.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
I don't know if I sent it to you, or maybe you received it with EDPA, but or the Economic Development Association. But anyway, was a webinar that had Greg Canfield, Secretary of Commerce, Fitzgerald Washington, and those have some really good. It's a webinar about 15 minutes long. If you didn't receive it, I can send it to you to send out to your team, and it has information on there to be shared.
We'll do that. I probably did receive that. Ben and I were talking about yesterday how all of a sudden in this crazy environment we're in, it's like every association, every organization you're even remotely affiliated with is sending out just massive amounts of information, and we're just flooded with emails. And so it's a lot of it's redundant, a lot of it's repetitive, but a lot of it's good information. So we have to keep that in mind and sift through that. But I'll find that. If I don't find it, Jeff, I'll reach out to you and get you to send me that again. But I'm sure I got it from EDAA in the last day or so.
Okay.
I've been on several webinars since all of this began. I've not seen one with Secretary Canfield or Secretary Washington. Excuse me there. Definitely allergies, no COVID there. Definitely allergies. But that does sound like that would be something that we would want you guys to have access to.
Thank you.
Wes Kitchens, anything else from the legislature from your perspective, or Jennifer, either one of y'all?
Matt, right now we're just working and we're going to try to have updates. I've been trying to send some things out regularly. We've been getting updates. If anybody has anything that they're facing right now, the Department of Commerce, they do have a floating tab on their screen on their homepage where you can go to that. Department of Labor also has a lot of information on there. We've got quite a few websites. I've been posting those and sending those out regularly, and I'll make sure you get a list of all the contact information that we have so far. But feel free to reach out to me directly or reach out to us at the legislative office, and we'll be glad to help any way we can with our businesses.
Okay, thank you. I spoke with Senator Schofield yesterday. He was going to try to make it on this today, but he said he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to. But he mentioned that he said that right now he wasn't sure if the legislature was going back into session next week or not. He said the Senate was leaning towards it, but he thought the House might be leaning towards not going back. Has anything changed on that on that front, Wes?
I've been told that we will have an answer today.
Okay.
The issue that we face with the legislature, on the House side, we have to have 53 people to have a quorum.
Yeah.
On the Senate, there's only 18, so there's a lower number there, which I know it's the same thing that other people are facing too. But I know that leadership in both the House and the Senate are meeting with the governor today, and we should have an answer as to when we're going back and more of a certainty by the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
Also, Matt, this is Jennifer again. The links to all of those websites that Wes was referring to on our MCLO page, those are all linked in the top band on the news page.
Okay.
So those are updated, so those are easily accessed there.
All right. We'll be posting all that, links to all that on our Facebook page. We'll also send out a follow-up email to the email that was sent out to all of you with some of those as well.
This is Amanda at the Gunnersville Chamber. We've included all those links on the front of our Facebook page, not Facebook, website. And also, I know Stan and Brooke have been doing this too. We've been compiling lists and sending them out every day of our businesses and restaurants that are open, closed, different hours. They just send us that information. We compile an email and send it out. So if any of y'all have any information you'd like to go for us to distribute on that, just reach out to us. Or if you'd like to receive that email and you don't, let us know and we'll do that. And another thing we did this week is send out a survey to all of our members, sort of the impact that it's having on their business, and huge losses and decrease in businesses, as we can expect from many of them. But then some of them were having, still going on really well. So it's just some interesting information. We'll continue to keep that survey open to see what we can do for people.
Great. Yeah, that's good information y'all have been giving out, seeing what restaurants were open, where we could order pick up, and what the procedures were for that. I know the restaurant industry has had to completely shift its business model in the last week or so, and some have done well with that, and some have not done so well with that. And that's I think that's the case of businesses that know how to adapt, and so I think we're all kind of facing that. I know just in economic development, I keep up with all of my colleagues, and we've been trying to adjust and figure out, all right, how can we best help our companies right now? Because obviously we're not out there recruiting new companies. We're not visiting our existing industries like we would normally be. We're but we still need to be a resource for you guys. And so anyway. Any other thoughts or questions from anybody?
Hey, Matt, this is Teresa Walker.
Hey, Teresa.
I sent an email to Ben this morning from the UAH Center for Management and Economic Research. They had a great email with lots of resources for manufacturing companies. There's a survey about production capabilities, where you can donate PPE, if you have 3D printing capability, and a critical supply list. So folks can kind of see what's needed and soon be able, to say they can step up and manufacture some of that. So I thought those were great contacts to have for our manufacturers when they're trying to assist.
Okay. Excellent. We'll get that out. Ben will get that out to everybody.
Let me mention one thing for the manufacturers too. I've been kind of checking the CDC website. They have some good information on the coronavirus. If you get on there, there's a little click you can do about interim guidance for business and employers. There's also one for cleaning and disinfection recommendations. And there's also a surprisingly good document on there from OSHA on preparing workplaces for the coronavirus. And
normally OSHA is not one of Ben's biggest things.
I'm not a huge fan of OSHA, but this is amazingly pretty comprehensive and useful, I think. So if you want to check that out, it's worthwhile, I think.
Excellent.
Is that just the CDC website you said?
Yeah, just cdc.gov, and then click on, I think where it says coronavirus. Where it says, yeah, anyway, you can get to it. Yeah, learn more about COVID-19. Click on that, and then it's got symptoms. It's got home care. Wait a minute. Click on that, and it goes down how to protect yourself, what you need to know, symptoms, resources for the community. And I clicked on business and employers, and that's where you get to the information I was referring to.
Okay. Good. All right. Any other thoughts anyone have, or anything else for the good of the group? All right, guys, we know y'all are busy right now. We appreciate what y'all are doing, and we are certainly here to help you guys in any way we can. We keep forwarding information as we get it, and keep you guys in the loop. If y'all have any questions, like some of the questions that have been posed today, feel free to, you all have me and Ben and Brittany's contact information. Feel free to call us, to email us. Let us know any concerns you have and any questions you have, and we will track down from whatever source. Just like last week when I heard from several of y'all about concerns about what the governor had said, we were able to track that down pretty quick and find out the full details regarding that. So with that said, anybody have anything else? We'll go ahead and conclude.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Matt.
Have a nice day.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
You too.